Hi, welcome back to Crafting a Country Life. I'm Andrea. I have some projects to share with you today. I have a handmade journal. I have some handmade paper cards, or tags actually, that I'm going to share with you and my process for doing those. And then at the end, I just finished up a cotton knitted shawlette. So I'm going to share that as well at the end. And if knitting is not your thing, of course, you can watch up until whenever you feel like you're finished. And I hope you enjoy what you see. Okay, so let's get started. The other day I was in Michael's and this caught my eye. I picked up this stamp set of these cute little apartment buildings. And I said, those have to come home with me. So what I did is I created some tags using the stamps. And went ahead and stamped the image onto some cardstock. And then I die cut out, the shapes that I needed for the tags. I've got a couple more here that I haven't colored in yet. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use these for maybe card making or what. Probably cards. But I have to get those colored in as well. And they're versatile. You can stack them up together in groups to make a little city walkway, or you can use them individually, whatever you like. So what I did was, after I stamped the images, I went ahead and used my Prismacolor colored pencils to color them in. Okay, and my process for the color schemes that I used on these was my Sarah Renee Clark color cards. And these come in a set. You can buy one box or both boxes. The website is sarahreneeclark.com. They're called color cubes. So there's a volume 1 and a volume 2. Here's the box for volume 1, okay? And inside are all of these photographs. Okay, and they're all numbered so that if you take one out, you know exactly where to put it back in. And it shows you the photograph for inspiration and then the color schemes that come from that particular photo. So if you flip it over, now you have more information on the back. These are the color numbers. If you need to match up certain media, you can do that. And then they also offer you tints and shades of those colorways from light to dark. And the nice thing about the back side of the card is that because these colors go right up to the edge, you can match them up more closely. If you're doing colored pencil samples or paint samples on a scrap paper, you can go ahead and do your color patch with your media and then match it up close to the edge to see if it matches the pictured color. So these are great and very useful. I love them. They're very inspiring. And sometimes I like to just sit and look at them. I'll just sit here and look through them. They're all different. Here are some other examples. You can see the beautiful photograph with the colors listed over here in little color swatches. And all of the backs give you more information about each one. And there's just so many to look at. All kinds of different color schemes. I use this when I'm working on paper crafting. I use it when I'm doing any other kind of artwork at my drafting table. And also for choosing colors for, quilt making or sewing, or I do hand weaving as well. So it's great for coming up with colorways, really for pretty much any different kind of media. Okay, so the first one here, I'll show you what I chose. I chose this particular color card, number 404, and then using this color scheme, here's the front and back, here's the card. Okay, and again, this is using Prismacolor colored pencils. So I went through here. I used the back side to match up the colored pencils that go with those colors. So I took a look at the green and I thought, well, okay, so there's the green that I want to use, the shade of green, and then I matched it up to the colored pencil, and I colored a little bit of that green on my scrap paper and then just made sure that it matched the color that I wanted to use here on the card. So these were my color choices here, and then I went ahead and colored it in, as you can see, and then went ahead and decorated it afterward with some, some trims, ribbon, some buttons, and some little sentiments, front and back, on that card there. Okay, so I'll put that one aside, and then the next one I used was number 376, this color card here. And again, same thing. Used my colored pencils, matched them up, colored the little house, and then my die cutting, I just glued everything together, added some ribbon and some little Hobby Lobby paper flowers and some trim at the bottom. I think it came out really well. I'm very pleased with it. And again, some stickers to kind of decorate. I had these in my stash. I've had these in my stash for quite a while. These are stickers from Park Lane from Joann's. So I used those. And this is a thickers package that I also had picked up at Joann's, probably a couple of years ago anyway. So I pulled these out to embellish my tags. Here's the second, this is the third tag right here. And I did this one in a little bit more of a rustic theme with, primitive twine and some burlap. And then the dream sentiment comes from this stickers package here. I don't know if this one has a name on it. It says whimsical up at the top. But, yeah, these American Crafts thickers go really well with a lot of the American Crafts paper collection lines. They're really nice to have. So this one comes from this particular color card. And you can see, get that up close. Yeah, you can kind of see the colors there that I used. Again, colored pencils, the Prismacolor colored pencils. Yeah, I'm really pleased with these. I thought they came out great. So that was project number 1. And project number 2 is a sewing journal. I recently completed this. I used a fabric spine, and initially, before I had finished this, I showed it on a recent video, not today's video, but a different one that I had done previously. And my plan was to make just a folder out of it, but then I decided later on that I would prefer to make it into a journal. So I put together some signatures inside, and this will be a sewing planner book kind of thing. So here's the cover. This has a vintage pattern on the front and a fabric spine with some machine embroidery going down the back. Okay, and then some vintage rickrack, some cardstock here. And again, on the inside, I tried to use papers that were reminiscent of the 1960s and early 70s. Give it that vintage look. And I included some cut-aparts. And these could be used to make notes on, or, staple or tape onto your pages as you're planning your sewing projects. And I've included in each, there are 4 signatures, I've included in each signature lots of blank pages for planning, for drawing, coloring, writing, journaling, what have you. And different size pages as well. Some cardstock pages, and some vintage sewing book pages, and vintage magazine cut-aparts are also included. And these are fun. You can leave these blank and just, have them in there for effect. Or you can go in and do some crafting on top of them. You can do some mixed media on top of these, or just tape or staple your fabric samples and ribbons and different things that you used to kind of document your sewing projects as well. Yeah, so I think that this is going to be fun to use. I secured them into the spine with just some reinforcing cardstock, and I slid the elastic through the cardstock, folded it, and then glued it to give the spine some rigidity because it is fabric. So it tends to squish when you have elastic, elastic going through there. It tends to squish. So these supports help to keep the spine nice and straight. Okay, so here's the second signature. And again, you know, it has some vintage book pages, some vintage transfers, gift wrap from the 1960s. And here's some old sewing book pages. And each signature is kind of similar in that regard. Here's the third signature here with the gold foiling, and the fourth signature here as well. So there's lots of pages here to doodle, draw, write, plan, you know, whatever you'd like. And then in the back, some more tags are included in this envelope. And this is the back cover, front and back. And I put the back of the pattern envelope on the back of the journal. Yeah. So I would like to give a shout out to my good friend Christy. She gave me lots and lots of these beautiful vintage patterns. So I've got them all put aside in my supply drawer, and I thought this was a fun way to use them. Yeah, I pulled the colors for this color theme off of the colors from the front of the pattern illustration. Okay, so that's the journal. And then the last thing I have to share with you is my knitted shawlette. Now this is a cotton shawlette. I just finished it and blocked it. And it's nice and soft and drapey. You could use it as a shawlette over the back of your shoulders, or you could use it almost like a scarf by wrapping it from front to back and then pulling the ends back to the front again around your neck. These are lots of fun to wear, and I thought the gray color would be great for really summer or winter, any season. And I'm very pleased with the results on this. It was a quick one to knit. It uses a worsted weight yarn, again in cotton, so it worked up very quickly, and just having that little bit of a lace pattern gives it, you know, a little bit of extra feminine kind of a look to it. So yeah, so I can't wait to wear that. And that one is all finished, and I believe that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will be back again. I have to share a haul video with you, so I'll be doing that. Actually, I'm going to film it today. I'll try to get it uploaded in the next day or so. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back again soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.